folks, how you doing? Are you surviving? We are just about. I just thought I'd update you on the comings and goings this week and how we've been getting along and surviving and living in the lockdown, etc. Um, it's been okay. I think today I've just felt really, really tired and just really, really fed up. So I just thought I'd come on here and just sort of, um, sort of devolve a bit, as it were. I probably got completely the wrong word, but at the moment my brain is so befuddled that I'm just using completely the wrong words for completely the wrong things. But probably an early night will do me good. But then we've got the little one to put to bed, so that might not be so easy. Anyway, it's not been too bad. We got out last week for a bit of a walk. I was ideally hoping to do a walk every day, but the children are reluctant. The older two are reluctant to leave the house. And the other thing is, I prefer to go when I've got my husband with me because my little one can be a bit of a handful, and it's just nice to have another adult as backup. So we tend to sort of go out when we're all together and do it as a family. But so I think middle of last week, we went to the local it's a local park. It's a place called Bellevue Park, and it's at the top of an area called another park called the Sparrow's Nest. It's quite weird because it goes down the cliff. Um, in Lowestoft, you have the lighthouse, and then you have this little park next to it called, or pretty very close to it, called Bellevue Park. And in there you've got it's all these like evergreens and stuff like that. And right at the end, you've got the Royal Naval Memorial. And there's loads of names on there, and there's loads of cannons, although they're not in use anymore. There's cannons all there, and it's quite a fun place to sort of walk around. And there's also a burial ground there for like cremations and stuff for the naval service or whatever it was there, because Sparrow's Nest down the bottom during the Second World War, that was actually a naval base, though you wouldn't think of it now because there's like a restaurant down there and a lovely park and sort of, great fun. I mean, we spent a lot of happy hours down there, just going there for a cup of tea or let the kids run around and stuff. But yeah, there used to be a naval base there. So that's why there's sort of this connection with sort of the Navy and everything else. There's a couple of little museums there as well. There's a maritime museum there. There is a World War One, World War Two museum, which is really, really interesting. Probably one of the things I would really like to do is when all this lockdown is over, when we're able to go out and enjoy ourselves again, actually go to some of these places, the local places in my local area, and from a family perspective, and just sort of say, this is what we've got here. This is what we've got on our doorstep, because when this is all over and we're all able to go out again, we need to be supporting our local areas of interest. We need to be supporting our museums and supporting our heritage and everything else. And I'm someone who's quite passionate about history, and I've not been able to really do things like that in recent years, due to the fact that my husband and I can't drive, and also the fact that we've always been on limited funds. So it's just life really. But there are little things I can do in the meantime. But anyway, I digress. So we went to the park, and we had a lovely walk round. But like every time you saw another person, there was a few families out, all keeping sort of huddled together, and there was somebody walking their dog, or so. And as soon as anybody they all sort of ran the other way, and everyone was sort of almost like you're scared of each other. But obviously you're practicing the social distancing. But I mean, we didn't go down into the Sparrow's Nest, area, so I don't know if there was any people sunbathing there or anything like that. But where we were on the Bellevue Park, walking around there wasn't anybody sunbathing or anybody doing anything sort of non-exercising, which was good. So people are sort of maintaining that distance and everything else. Supermarket this week wasn't too bad, although I must say I do feel like the prices are going up. It just feels like I've gone from spending sort of 60 to 70 pounds, because I'm really trying to be careful with my money. Like, I've gone from sort of spending on average £70 a week to £90 to £100 a week, and that is, I'm glad we're not on 0-hour contract anymore, but it is a little bit worrying that, despite all the efforts to try and keep, to budgets and things, that it's not happening. I'm sorry if I'm moving this around. I'll try and make it a bit more comfortable. There we go. So that's a little bit worrying, but this time we had to queue up before we went in as well. Nobody asked me about, because I took my daughter with me this time. Nobody asked me about that. This time, which was a relief, but I sort of feel like every time now I go to Tesco's, I'm going to have to justify why I'm bringing my daughter to help me. But there we go. That's just one of the little niggles you've got to put up with during lockdown. It won't be forever. I've just got to sort of take each day as it comes, as we say, and just hope for the best. So that was okay. I mean, we got most of the stuff that we needed. There was a few little things out that weren't there, but it wasn't really that big a problem. I could improvise with something else. So yeah, I think this whole supermarket replenishment is working. It's a little bit annoying that I can't have as many, that you're restricted in what you can, the amounts you can buy, but that's totally understandable. In this, we just sort of have to adapt. I end up having to sort of go to the corner shop where I am and get a few bits from there. I mean, they've been getting eggs and everything else, even free range eggs. They've been getting big trays of free range eggs, so I've been getting me free range eggs. Although they are a little bit small, I've been getting me free range eggs from my local shop, which has been a blessing. But that is one of the things I noticed still for about three or 4 weeks now. There's been no eggs in Tesco, which is a bit disappointing. But you just got to sort of suck it up, really. But there was a lot more people wearing masks and gloves and everything else. If that's what people want to do, if that makes them feel safe and everything else, then it doesn't bother me. If the government turn around and go, we must do it, then obviously, yeah, I'll do it. But at the moment, I don't feel I need to as such. I mean, my daughter has, my oldest and my youngest do have asthma, but it's not like the severe asthma. I mean, both of them, it's not too bad really. So, I'm not too worried. But if they all start turning around and saying, right, you've all got to wear masks, then fair enough, we'll do that. And we'll see what happens. I'm all for wearing masks if that's what we're meant to do. But I just don't feel at the moment that we need to yet. There may come a time when that changes, and then we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. In the meantime, I've been trying to keep myself sane by sort of trying to cut down on the amount of sort of computer games I've got on my phone, because I do like my little computer games on the phone, but I am finding that some of the games will give you sort of more time and things like that, and then you end up wasting a lot of practical time. You could be doing other things. I mean, one of the things I thought would happen when the children were home, I thought, oh good, I'll be able to get more housework done, because I'll be able to get they can look after the little one and I can catch up on all the sort of housework things I need to do. No, because they've all been given an army of work from school, so they're all doing that all morning, and by the afternoon, running around after an almost 3-year-old, I'm knackered by the end. So it just doesn't happen. And I need to catch up with some coursework as well, because I'm doing this Make the Change course, which is about changing your sort of habits into healthy habits. And then once I complete the course, I can get 3 months free gym membership, which will sort of take place once the lockdown's over. So I need to catch up on that. But it's just sort of saying to the kids, "What, mummy needs to do some coursework. Can you give her the time to do it?" And they're a little bit, "Oh, Mum, I want to do this. I want to," and you just sort of feel like, am I being selfish by wanting to do something for me? I sort of feel a bit guilty. But at the end of the day, I'm wanting to get help. I'm not doing enough exercise. I'm stuck in the house. I'm getting a little bit fed up. I want to go out and do things, but then I sort of end up feeling disappointed, and either I've let myself down or I'm letting other people down. And at the moment, I just feel so shattered all the time. Um, and I'm trying to keep positive. I'm trying to see the lighter side in everything, and everything else. Because I want to keep the spirits up and everything, but sometimes I just feel like, I have sort of lost my temper with the kids a few times, and I don't want to do that. That's not me. Um, but sometimes you just feel like you're stuck in the house with all these children. You think, "Oh Christ, I can't do this anymore." And I know there are other mums who feel exactly the same way I do. And all I want to say is to all the mums out there tearing their hair out and feeling like, "I've had enough now. Can this all be over?" I feel your pain. It's going to be all right. We're going to get there. We're going to get through this. Um, you know, and don't feel guilty if sometimes you just have to. Unfortunately, I don't have a nice big field I can go running into to scream my head off. Although sometimes I really feel like doing that. But I think my neighbour, if I went out into my backyard and started screaming the place down, I think my neighbours would be a little bit concerned. So I think I'll have to give that a miss. But I have been trying to keep myself sane with not taking up but renewing some of my little hobbies that I've done, mainly sort of embroidery and things like that. And one of the things that I've done is my daughter and my son both used to be members of Cubs and Scouts and everything else. And they decided about a year or two ago it wasn't for them anymore. So they had all their badges, and obviously I'm probably going to pass their uniforms on, so I need to take the badges off. So I got some scrap fabric together, and I made them both a pillow, or a little, what you might call like a travel cushion and stuff. And I've just finished my daughter's. I finished my son's ages ago. I've just finished my daughter's, and I just thought I'd show it to you. And this is all her badges, both sides of it, that she earned while she was, and this is right from Rainbows, because she used to do Rainbows as well. So this is all her badges that she's earned, right from Rainbows right through to Scouts. And I've just put them all on a cushion, which she can use as a travel pillow. She can just have it on her bed. But that's her, that's storing all her badges and all her memories and everything else that she's got from Scouts. So I was pleased with that. And then I've started doing embroidery again. And this is one of the little projects I'm currently working on, because I want to make a patch to go on a pair of leggings that have got a big hole in them. And so I'm just working on this at the moment. As you can see, I'm just doing the black work first. And it's just something that I've just traced. And then I'm just going over the border and everything else. So that is something that I'm working on at the moment. And hopefully, if I can find it, sorry if I'm jigging this about, but if I can find one of my previous projects somewhere. I did see one the other day. But let me have a look. So much stuff. See, I'll show you this in a minute as well. that's a previous thing I've done. This is something I've actually finished. I did the weaving myself as well on my tablet weaving, because I do have a tablet weaving loom as well, which is up here somewhere. I don't know if you can see that. That's my loom up there doing nothing when I could be more productive and try and find some use for it. So I'm trying to sort of rekindle all my handicrafts that I used to do from when years ago my husband and I were historical reenactors, and we used to do Anglo-Saxon reenactment and Viking reenactment, and I really miss it. I miss it so much because it was such a big community, and you meet loads of people and you travel everywhere and you do so much stuff, and I miss it so much. But of course, finances and struggles and everything else, and it just, it got, I just feel like it got taken away from me, and all I've got left is my memories and my sewing. So that's sort of all I'm left with. But yeah, I did all the weaving on that. I mean, it's nothing special. It, as I say, this is sort of tablet weaving, and it's not that brilliant. But I made that, and I made this myself out of scrap wool, and it's a little glasses holder. You can put your sunglasses in that. So it was just a little practical thing, and hopefully one day I'll get some sunglasses and make use of that. And then, as I say, with the little bit of embroidery that I'm doing at the moment, that is it's just the sort of the black work, the black and white that I'm doing. I say black work, there's actually a specific embroidery called black work, which I'd love to have a go at. It's sort of like an Elizabethan or Tudor type thing, which I'd love to have a go at. But in the meantime, I'm sort of that's sort of the almost like the skeleton of how it's going to end up. But this is the sort of finished result of another piece of work. I mean, I was thinking about maybe putting the backing onto that and turning it into a bookmark, or because I don't think it's long enough for a border on clothes. I have done borders on clothes and things like that, but that is a previous piece of work that's sort of finished. But I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with it. But yeah, I've sewn that all myself, all the stitching's mine, all the and basically what I do is I trace things like stuff out of this book. In fact, I've actually the swan on the front, I've actually created that one as well, and it took me about 12 months overall, off and on, because obviously you got a life and other things, but I actually created a version of that, and I was really proud of it as well, and it's on one of my sewing bags, which I don't think I've got in here, but yeah, that went onto one of my sewing bags, and it came out really well. So yeah, that is sort of stuff that I'm trying to do again, just to keep myself sane during this lockdown period. I'm trying to take up all my crafts again, so that I can A, have something to do, and B, maybe in the future I might be able to sort of maybe sell a few bits or something. I don't know, but that's sort of a long way down the line. As I say, I at the moment I'm just making things, and if something comes of it, then brilliant. If something doesn't come of it, then it's the enjoyment of making something and feeling like you might be able to make something useful. But yeah, I mean, long term, I'd love to get back into reenactment. Maybe not necessarily Anglo-Saxon, because it was something I did with my husband, and he keeps making. One minute he's making noises that he'd like to do it again, and another time he's making excuses as to why we can't, and we just end up going around in circles. We don't have a rouse over it, because I never wanted to give it up in the first place, and I tried so hard for us to keep going and to keep doing it, and he's just like, oh, but we've got, we can't drive, we can't do this. So I'm starting to get hay fever, so don't worry. But it's just something I really loved, and I really miss it, and this is sort of a way for me to sort of keep my hand in and keep my skills going and everything else. So, oh, blimey, I've ranted on for about 20 minutes and I didn't intend to do that. So, thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for putting up with me. And, and I hope, you're all keeping sane out there. It's not easy. It really isn't easy. But, keep the faith, just, share the love, be positive and everything else. And, hopefully this one day will all be a memory that we tell our grandkids about. Oh, we were alive during the lockdown. And we'll all be okay. And that's the thing to look forward to. I think the thing I'm most looking forward to is being able to just go out and enjoy life again. And, I don't have, riches and everything else, and I don't have a great deal in my life, but at least when we've got this lockdown over and done with, we can go up to Pakefield, which is sort of just past Lowestoft, and go for a lovely walk and walk back along the seafront and just feel that sea air, and that is what I'm really looking forward to. And I know that sounds like a really crappy thing to look forward to, but I'm really looking forward to that long 2 mile, couple of mile walk back home again. But it'll happen. Everybody take care, look after yourselves. Bye.